You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
All right, this is Colin.
And this is Taylor from The Million Reasons. You're listening to the Bodfather on BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome drummer Colin Dill and vocalist Taylor Brennan from The Million Reasons. Chicago's The Million Reasons release their debut full-length album entitled Haven via Pavement Entertainment. Haven is the follow-up to the band's 2021 If Not For The Fire EP. Also check out video for If Not For The Fire. And we're going to talk about that because it's a little bit interesting on what's happened with this song and this album. So Colin and Taylor, how you guys doing, man?
Fantastic. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us, John.
Yeah, John, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. So how you guys doing? And man, how excited are you guys to have this album released, especially in this pandemic that we're going through, and hopefully getting out of this pandemic some.
Man, I think we're still high from the show we played on Thursday, if I'm being honest. Like we put so much time and love into writing, recording this music, getting to know each other, and kind of just surviving the last 2 years. You know, I mean, I think we rehearsed like maybe half a dozen times over the course of like a 2-year period, which, as you know, does not a band make. So it finally culminated in this show where we had our original lineup, all 5 of us who met in the room that first time, and played a scorcher of a set. You know, we didn't really know what to expect, and it was just a blast. And I could think of no better way to release the album. It felt like a huge party, and the crowd was just phenomenal. So it felt like, you know, we were celebrating with all of our best friends and family. And so, yeah, it's an incredible feeling. I'm still flying from it. I don't know about you, Col.
Yeah, you know, we're still a very local band for the time being. So for us to fill a room, you know, here in Chicago with or kind of our little local dedicated base and release the album and have a great time was an absolute blast. So definitely feeling good. And, you know, coming back to the day job today was disappointing, to say the least.
How did this band form, and who got the ball rolling to say, yeah, let's start something?
Yeah, so I can take that one. So Taylor and I are not, I guess, founding members of the band. So that would be our 2 guitarists, Mike Nichols and Ken Ugal, who started The Million Reasons about 5 years ago. I found an ad on Craigslist looking for a drummer, happened to connect with these guys and audition and get the part, and have become like really great friends with them ever since. We had an original singer, and he left the group about 2.5 years ago now. And I knew Taylor through a mutual friend, and his other band here in Chicago immediately gave him a call, asked him if he wanted to hop on the project, and we brought him in, and we've just kind of been flying ever since.
2017, the band released its debut EP, The Runaround. What have you both taken away from that EP that grew on you guys, if anything, possibly? I know it's working on it, it's got sick and tired of it, but what have you both taken away from it?
Yeah, well, it was really the starting point for the band and the kind of the foundation of what we wanted to be. And that was just some good feeling rock and roll, you know, lots of classical influence with some new age takes on that kind of vibe. And a few of those songs actually transitioned and transformed and made their way onto Haven, the release that we just put out last week. So Taylor kind of came into those brand new. And Taylor, you want to talk about your process with those?
Well, yeah, not so much my process really, but I mean, it definitely laid the foundation, right? I mean, my other band who I've been with for 10 years, we opened for The Million Reasons. What was it, August of that year, and so when I got the call from Colin, who actually was the only person I was friends with prior to joining the band, so Colin was kind of my in, and so we in no time we put together this EP, and then COVID happened, and it was like, well, like Pavement, we had the opportunity to join with Pavement, and they're like, cool, get us a full length. And we were like, well, damn, like I was in Boston. I moved out to Boston to help co-parent my son while daycare was out. And so my wife and I moved out there to co-parent with his mom. And I was so busy and so tired and everything else, but we still had this job to do. And so the runaround, there are great songs on that album, don't get me wrong, but the direction we were going in the couple of months we had been in the band was, I think our sound was maturing, is probably the best way that I could say it. And I've been doing this a while. So I think I brought a different element to the band. It was something that I think gave the band a little more character. And so as much as, these guys had their hooks in the old song, pun not intended, but there was a song called Hook. As much as these guys had these songs, it was like, well, what are we going to do? We can't get in a room. We can't really write. Ken had come up with some killer parts, but like they just didn't really take off. So we were like, well, this is an opportunity. Like I really liked the music for a lot of these songs, but I wasn't really feeling the lyrics so much. I actually kind of liked the melodies, but I wasn't really feeling the lyrics so much. And so I was like, listen, if we're going to perform these songs, I don't want to sing somebody else's words. You know what I mean? Like I can do karaoke down the street. So, but the band was so receptive. They're like, look, here's the songs without tracks, without vocal tracks. If you want to go and try and make these your own, we'll do it. And they all spoke to me, we got some killer songs from the runaround. And so I was surprised it actually didn't take us all that long to put our own stamp on it and have what was, we joked for a while that it was called the rerun around because we were rerunning those tracks. So it didn't take us long at all to kind of make it our own, kind of mold it into what became the album Haven.
All right, Colin, here's the $1 million question for you, man. I'm gonna put you in a hot seat just for a little bit because you won't sell Taylor that Chris Cornell poster, which I
yeah, sounds good.
We'll still talk about that a little bit after the show. But anyway, after Taylor added his lyrics to these songs, his versions, did it give the songs an extra kick? Maybe did it fulfill what you was actually looking for? And I'm not knocking anybody else who wrote these lyrics, but I'm just saying, did Taylor actually knock it out of the ballpark with these?
Oh yeah, 100%. Quite frankly, it was from a lyrical perspective, just night and day. And we just all got really excited, and it took something that had become familiar and made it new and kind of really re-energized us. And now, I've been playing some of these songs live here around Chicago for 5 years, but this last week it felt like we were playing a whole brand new set of songs just because of that new influence, new take, and just, having it just be so much fun, having my friend Taylor in the band and, making this music that we can really, feel proud of.
So with these tracks that came off that EP that made this album, why did you guys want to do that? Just to say, okay, these are newer songs and we want to add these to this album, or did you think that they need their own little spotlight to shine more?
Yeah, I think we wanted a new spotlight. I think at the time we released it, it was, let's get some songs into the world and just start playing some shows, but they were recorded and made in a bedroom. So, there was an opportunity to actually take the time, and with all the members that we wanted, adding Jason Cillo on bass as well during that time. So, really having 3 new members in the band and kind of recreating from almost a bass into something that, we knew was real, like we thought was really good. It could just use a little extra push. And now with, the backing of Pavement and having a little more, hopefully reach on this one, getting it to a whole lot of new ears. Hopefully, people who've listened to us in the past can appreciate the new take. And, there's going to be a lot of people hearing it for the first time now.
And I know that's what happened with If Not For the Fire, which was released in 2021. That EP, that's the self-titled song off that album, or that EP, I should say. So was that the same for that? You just want to put that on this album as well?
Yeah, we were kind of just almost piecing a bit of everything that we've ever done and putting it into this full length with new production, new recordings, and then getting Taylor to do, lyrics and vocals on everything. So that's really where this culminated into our full length here. That is really the true foundation now of what the Million Reasons has been trying to do for the past 5 years.
I know we just talked about this just a little bit. I know you released the EP If Not For the Fire in 2021, but did the pandemic guys set this band back any at all? I mean, did you guys have like previous plans to release this album or new songs? Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Taylor, you want to take that one?
I think as far, it's so interesting, man. I don't feel like it set us back. I think this album probably would have come out like a year ago, if not for the pandemic. You know what I mean? Could have just called the album that, actually, Colin. I think the adversity that the pandemic caused or created for this band, I think made us stronger today. And it's kind of weird because I think all of us in the middle of the pandemic, in our own way, maybe with the exception of Colin, actually, but I think all of the rest of us were kind of like, do we really want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, we were all separated. Like, it was hard enough getting on a Zoom call. Like, we'd be talking so much through text. And as you know, John, like, so much can get lost through text. And, when you're passionate about something, you speak passionately about it. And to speak passionately about something over text can come off a little intense. And I think we had a lot of moments like that. And we didn't have the benefit of time to like really understand each other, to build chemistry, right? We had played, at the time the pandemic started, we had played one show together. We had probably had half a dozen rehearsals. So like there wasn't much like natural chemistry that exists from the bands who have been doing this a lot. And we never really had that opportunity. We all wanted it, but I think like when we got into that part, it was like, man, who has the energy for this? No, it's hard enough getting out of bed, let alone like try and have like the right kind of touch with communication. So I think we went through some stuff where each of us as individuals had to be like, is this worth it? And then like come to our own answer of yes. And then when we got back in a room, when we started focusing back on the music, when we were able to like, have some really good moments and be like, oh, actually there is chemistry here, right? That's like, we're talking like a year and a half, 2 years into the band forming is the first time I was like, I think we have something here. And so I think, like any relationship you have, right? Musical, romantic anyway, when you come out of something that creates adversity and you come out of it thriving, you feel tighter. And I feel, Colin's the only one of these guys that like, I was my friend before. And so I knew Colin and I were going to be friends one way or the other. But these guys, I was like, I don't even know if I'll see these folks again in the middle of the pandemic. And so we came out of it. We played kind of a weird show last year, but it was like a lot of fun. And then kind of use that as like a launching point to be like, we are in this. We got through that. We, as far as like what new bands have to deal with, like that's pretty big. So we can get through that. And it's been awesome ever since. You know what I mean? Like, I think we are a stronger band as people who are in a relationship with 4 other people respectively, and as the sum of the parts being, of the sum of the whole being greater than the parts, than we would have been without the pandemic.
I've said this for a while now. All these bands that stuck together, especially up and coming bands, for them to stay together through all this, man, it speaks volumes because it's been very hard. You lose lack of wanting to practice, you lose lack of wanting to do anything with this. It's like, we'll do it later. It's just, but to keep doing it, that's pretty cool to stay with it. Being
a band of 5 people in general that aren't in their early 20s anymore is not easy, right? Like, we got jobs now, but when we're in the 20s, we're like, fuck jobs. Like, we got jobs now. We got, think pretty much everyone in the band is married or in a serious relationship. So we got other commitments, like playing music, which was priority number one for all of us for like the better part of our 20s. It just can't be anymore. Or, you know, I'm sleeping outside, right? One way or the other. When my wife kicks me out of my job, lets me go. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard enough that way, let alone when you've got that aspect of it.
Any tracks standing out more to you guys than any right now on this album? I know these are your babies. I know these are your songs that you've worked on for a very long time. But do you have any that stand out for each of you?
Yeah, I'll take the first one. I think for me, the opening track, "Oh Tranquilizer," is one of my favorites on the album. Kind of from the perspective of, you know, when we were writing it, guitarist Mike Nichols and I just by ourselves went into just a room. We're like, let's just play and see what we come up with. And in the first 20 minutes, that song almost formed to fruition. It was just one of those ones that I was like, that's a sweet riff. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And it's just a really fun, fast-paced rock song that kicks off the album. And it was kind of, we always thought that was going to be the opener, because it's like, all right, here we are. We are a rock and roll band, and we're going to, you know, fire you right into it off the bat. So that one for me, since I was so intimately a part of the writing process, and how easily it came together and how it jumpstarts the album, is definitely one that stands out to me. The other one I think for me also is No North Star, which is the slower, more ballady, emotional song, just because one of the time it took to compose that song with all the other instruments that we put on there, you know, the cello, organ, all these different things that, you know, we got other folks to come in and help out to compose that together, and then adding Taylor's like very, you know, emotional lyrics. I think those two are almost complete opposites, but are one of the two of the songs that I'm most proud of on the album.
Yeah, for me, If Not for the Fire, you know, that's the first song I wrote for this band, or with this band. They gave me the track, you know, it was basically my audition. And it came to me very quickly. The melody did, you know, the stuff I was going through at the time, lyrically just came to me. And so to go in, to have that be the first song we played, the first original song we played, and then as we polished it, it was like, this is a banger of a song. It's like a quick little 3.5 minute, you know, punch of a song. And I was really psyched with the music video. I like that we just kind of like rode that one through, you know, the EP, and to kind of be kind of an anchor when it came to the full length. So If Not for the Fire, you know, it's probably still my favorite song on the record. It's probably still my favorite song we have as a band, and it's the first one we wrote, which is, I think, how it happens. Like a lot of the times, you know, you get the first taste of something new, and the creativity kind of, you kind of divert the creativity in a direction it wasn't otherwise planning on going, and the end result of that was pretty cool. And then I also love 1985, because to Colin's point, it does feel like it's a little bit different from the other stuff we have. You know, If Not for the Fire, Tranquilizer, Shine On, Pretty Ones, All You Can't Afford. Like, these are riffy, kind of heavy songs. In 1985, it represented kind of like a sunnier take. And it was nice to see that the band had this in us, you know. Ken and Mike and all these guys really are prolific songwriters. And so it's not easy to have a song that doesn't really fit on the album and then make it fit just by like really hammering in the individual parts and having it come together. And 1985 did that. Lyrically, it's a little different. It's a little more upbeat. Sonically, certainly is. And I think it's probably, to me, one of the top 2 strongest songs on the record. And I sure love listening to it.
And I feel, as a fan of music, when you grab that album to listen to, you don't want the same song played every time you listen to. You definitely want a diverse tracks, you know, of an album. You want something different every time. But I get it. I mean, you know, it's like Metallica. Everybody said they so, but I don't think so. I love Metallica.
You do?
I do. I mean, but you know, they put out all those albums, and I keep telling people, how many times or how many years can you go playing 1,000 miles an hour and you just finally say, I'm tired of this? it's God, what else can we do?
I got something else to say, right? I got something else to say in a different way. Absolutely.
Every rock band of all time has had different ebbs and flows on an album. I think that's what makes it
Exactly. Right.
great.
Except for AC/DC and Rage Against the Machine.
That is true, sir.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
All right, so a majority will go with that. Yeah, it's good. You wanna give people a break, and then but like still keep them engaged and rope them right back in. So unless you're screaming at the the political machine, then maybe you're just mad all the time.
Poor Angus, man. Have you heard this song before? I think we've heard that riff 1,000 times, Angus.
Yep.
Yeah. Any tracks that did not make this album we can see on another EP or an album down the road from you guys? How much is left in the bank from you guys?
That's a great question.
We have a lot of bass ideas, and we have a lot of small parts composed. But for the most part, we kind of really picked the most composed compositions that we wanted to go on this album. We have songs written that could definitely use a bit more work to get them to their final state. But, as far as like, we kicked these 3 fully completed recorded songs off. Now we had 11 songs, and there are 11 songs on the album.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to with what comes next. To see, like, the 5 of us have never just gotten in a room and messed around and composed something together. So everything has come through either one person brings the idea that's almost fully flat. I mean, Ken can write a song, man. Ken can put a song together from start to finish, and all it really needs is like a couple of tweaks, some vocals, and like, package it up, send it out. That'll do. But I'm really interested to see when the 5 of us get together and explore some stuff. Because I think, John, to your point, like at that point, we're going to end up with 30 songs, and then we have to be a lot more selective. That said, I don't think there's anything that we put on the album just as filler. I don't think there's a single song on there that we were like, well, we have to get to 45 minutes, and so let's slap All You Can Afford at the end. I think all the songs that we have can stand up on their own.
Was there a track that you were working on, guys, that totally ended up sounding different than what they were intended to? I know that Taylor did his rework on some of these songs, but was there one that actually just kept going on and going on? Finally, you guys got it.
I actually don't know. I don't know if you have any suggestions, Taylor.
I think the only one that comes close. So Ride or Die was a song called Hooked on the Runaround. And it's a great song. And it was a really good song before too. And I think that was one that, like, I guess almost didn't make the album because, like, I had heard Hooked so much when I was like getting ready to audition for the band that I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And I was almost like, I don't know. And then one rehearsal, I was on my way to the practice space and was going back into old music that I had done with a band that I was in a couple years ago. And I came across this other song. And as I was like listening through it, I was like, holy shit, note for note, cadence for cadence, this song fits exactly over Hooked. And so I literally just took the lyrics, slapped them on top of that, and it fit. And literally in rehearsal, I was like, hey guys, let me try this, just play. And this was actually, the band was kind of annoyed, like, my God, like, we've been hearing you're going to finish this song. And I was like, let me try this. And I just did, like, yeah, that really fits. I was like, okay, cool. I like, the chorus was the only thing that like didn't quite work. So I like reworked the chorus right on the spot. But the lyrics still kind of worked. And so that was one where, like, we weren't really expecting it to come together. We weren't really expecting that one to land, but it worked. It really fit like the vibe of the song. It's this like kind of dirty song about like almost like a Bonnie and Clyde. Mick and Mallory from Natural Born Killers actually gets referenced in it. Just like getting in the car, driving west in like desert heat, causing trouble. And that song had that like desert riff, and that worked. And so like it sonically, it probably just was kind of a shake because it was like last minute, down to the wire. if we can't get this song tonight at rehearsal, we're not adding it to the record. And it just like worked. And then a week later it was recorded. So it's kind of cheating as far as an answer, but that's as close as I can get you, John.
So when writing your lyrics, when do you say, okay, let's not go this route? Or can you do that? Or you just let the lyrics write themselves?
Oh man, that's a good question. Every song's different. You know what I mean? Like, if not for the fire, it probably took 20 minutes to write, at least like 90% of it. And then there were other songs where it's probably really annoying to the band because like week after week after week, it's like, well, dude, you have these tracks. I'm like, I know, but I'm not just gonna sing stuff to sing stuff. I'm not just gonna like put stuff down. You know, I have this this fantastic producer out of Chicago named Noam Wallenberg, works out of this excellent studio called Rax Tracks. He's been my guy for like the last 15 years I've been in Chicago. Everything I've done, I've worked with him to some degree. And man, when I was early on, he would just ride my ass. He was just like, you're not singing this to somebody. Like, I don't feel that you mean what you're saying. And that was a big part about why I was kind of like petulant about trying to sing stuff from the previous singer. You know, like I was like, I can't connect to these lyrics. They're not my words. They're not my feelings. And so I really try to make sure that how I feel and what I'm either going through at a time or something else that is very, I guess, tangible as far as an emotion is represented there. So yeah, I wish they were all quick, and I'm sure the band members do too, so we could write a lot faster. Because a lot of times we get these scratch tracks back where it just sounds like I'm singing. I'm just trying out every vowel in different combinations for 4 minutes. So yeah, sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes it takes a while, but I will always let it take the time that it takes to make it what it's supposed to be. And because of that, I'm proud of every song on this record.
For you, Taylor, it's an intensely personal album for you. Let's talk about that just a little bit, if you don't mind to elaborate why this is an intensely personal album for yourself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, starting at the top. I mean, I never want this to just be about me. I mean, it's intensely personal to me because I care a lot about this band, and this band cares a lot about me. I was going through some shit when I joined them. And I've had nothing but support. And I continue to go through stuff, right? I've had issues with vocal health. I've had trouble with mental health. And these are four of the most supportive guys ever. Like, I know what it's like to be in a band and be dying to rehearse. And like, it's the thing you look forward to the most in any given day or any given week. And then last minute, someone calls out or doesn't seem as like present. And I've been on a side where I'm really frustrated by that. And so I sympathize with these guys. And man, you never know it. Like Colin, the rest of these dudes, like incredibly supportive. They got me through this time. So as a member of this band, it's impressive. It's personal to me because we got it done, and I'm so proud of us. And it, it does inspire a lot of emotion to like think about the process and think about the people I go to work with once a week. Specific to the lyrics, I joined these guys fall of 2019. Starting in 2018, I really started to come to terms with some mental health issues. I was diagnosed bipolar just about a year early before that, and it shone a light on about a decade worth of issues and arguments and times where I had to go back and be self-reflective. And it broke up my marriage. It led to the discovery of this new insanely beautiful love that was like all consuming. It's all I wanted to do and think about, and led me in this direction where I'm happier than ever, and led me to this band and so much self-reflection. And so in one form or another, I would say 80% of this record is a direct reflection of something I was going through personally through that period. And so, yeah, it's personal in that sense. And it was hard for me to talk about at first, as it is for many people who kind of silently suffer through mental health or don't even really know what they're dealing with. And now I'm at the point where, like, because I'm through it, through the support system I have outside the band, obviously through the support system with the band, it's something I'm actually proud of. So I'm happy to talk about it. And I'm happy to sing about it. And I'm happy to put that out there and try and connect with people who are listening to it, whether it's one or two people or whether it's, a couple hundred people at a local music venue. Like, it's really important to me to share that. And yeah, I think the finished product and each of those songs, I think the music matches with the lyrics. I think the lyrics almost feel like another, like another instrument in the band, in the way that they fit with the rest of the music. So yeah, I mean, without going into much more details than that on the individual parts of each song, I mean, at a high level, there are themes that relate to all those things I just mentioned.
Who produced this album, guys? Was this in-house or did somebody actually do it?
A couple of folks had hands in it.
This was produced by John Terry, Noam Wallenberg, as Taylor was mentioning, and then Nick Statina. So different parts, different producers, but then it was mixed and mastered by John Terry.
What do you guys hope everyone takes away while listening to this album, or just any of your guys' music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
I would love people to be like, oh shit, rock and roll is back. Like, let's go. Like, there's still bands out here that want to be two guitars, bass, drums, and a singer, and just go out there and, rip it and have fun and bring you that energy. If Taylor's lyrics can speak to people, that's wonderful as well. I think they're phenomenally well written, but I just kind of think that it's, our genre of music, you just have to dig a little deeper. It's still there. But I still want to be able to like have that hard rock and drive that people aren't as familiar with hearing as often anymore.
Got one more question for you both. What's your thoughts on the Million Reasons being a voice for people who feel like they can't speak or, need to say the words that they need to, and you guys do that for them?
I mean, to me, I think it answers your last question and this one. For me, it's like, if not for the fire, like, what did you come for if not for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are alive for a finite amount of time. The lucky ones make it 80 plus years. Great majority of us don't even get to see that for one reason or another. So it's like, what are you doing with your time here?
Yeah.
And that was something that was huge to me coming out of that period. What am I doing with my time here? I'm not as happy as I could be. I'm not fulfilled. Something is missing. How do I find that? And for me, being in love with the right person, spending my free time with like making music, something that fulfills me. Being on stage the other night, I can't and I'm a lucky person with a beautiful life, and I feel like I feel very alive every day, but I cannot remember feeling like that alive, feeling like that, like lit up as I did that last Thursday. And so it's like, if you're not doing that, if you're not chasing that feeling and doing everything that you can to secure that feeling, what the fuck are you doing here? Go and get it. Go find that fire, find that spark that lives deep down in the depths of us. You know what I mean? So like, if somebody listens to this album and it like snaps them into place, it's like, oh, that's a good point. Like, let me quickly reevaluate my entire life. That's what I want to get out of it. I want to see people, reflecting and being like, am I doing that? Am I getting that? Because otherwise, what are we doing here? Right, John?
Colin?
I don't have much else to
add. Follow that, Colin.
No, I mean, I don't. I'm just going to echo his sentiment.
We can edit that out. That's no problem. I can edit it out.
No, it's all. That's just a wonderful. It's just wonderfully said, wonderfully spoken, and I completely agree. And it's Taylor's lyrics speak to me personally too, on a level. Not even I have respected him as a singer and a lyricist for a long time. So the fact that we're making music together now and it gets to be a part of what I'm writing and contributing to is really special. And yeah, I think I really can't articulate it any better than Taylor's sentiment there.
All right, Colin and Taylor, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album, all these new singles, EPs, all this stuff for the Million Reasons? How can folks do that, good sirs?
Yeah, so just the millionreasons.com pretty much has everything that you could ever want on it, from streaming platforms. We're on, Spotify, Tidal, SoundCloud, YouTube, We're on Instagram at The Million Reasons. We're on Twitter at The Mill Reasons, Facebook at The Million Reasons. All your regular sites. We're very active on them. We love to connect with people. Really hoping that this album reaches a wider audience, and that you can speak and get to know people who have listened to it a little more in depth. So come find us, come chat with us, because other than Taylor, we're pretty friendly people, and we'll love to chat with you.
And before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Fuck
Absolutely.
yeah. Let's do it.
This is Colin.
And this is Taylor from The Million Reasons. You're listening to the Bodfather on the BODS Mayhem Hour.
Thank you, my sons. Thank you. Folks, stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and you're going to subscribe to the YouTube link because we got some awesome stuff on there. And if you don't subscribe, you're crazy. Yeah.
Out of your mind.
Get out and check out The Million Reasons. Pick up this album, Haven. You won't be disappointed. Check out their old stuff as well. Follow this band, give them a chance, and I guarantee you'll like at least one song by these folks and get hooked by them. So Colin and Taylor, thank you guys so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate your time.
Cheers, brother.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.